Today's the day. Yeah, today I am going to go through my collection. It's the state of the collection as of today video. And I've put off doing this for so long. I'm not too sure why, to be honest with you. I don't know whether I'm embarrassed that I don't think my collection is good enough or what it is. But yeah, but here it goes. So I have not been collecting watches for very long. I have been in love with watches for a very long time. I hadn't really thought about collecting watches or becoming an enthusiast about watches until I guess this year, to be perfectly frank and honest with you all. So I've just been buying what I like, and I started this channel out of a passion for watches and I genuinely wanted to learn about them because, as I've said many times, I just bought what I liked and what I thought looked good and what I thought suited my wrist and me as an individual. And that is how I will continue to buy watches, by the way. But in doing this channel and researching different kinds of watches, different brands of watches, I've discovered this whole world out there of watches that I never would have even given a second thought to, let alone even knew existed. And so it's really broadened my horizons, and it's got me some watches for the collection that I wouldn't have otherwise got. There's many on a wish list, a video I will do at a later date because that list is just getting longer and longer. But today let's go through the current state of the collection. And I wanted to start with the first expensive watch I ever bought. It was a gift to myself after I got a bonus in a job I was doing. It's probably about 8 years old now in terms of when I bought it. And it's what started me on my Swiss made journey. And that was my Tag Heuer Monaco. And I really do adore this watch. Okay, you've seen my video on Tag Heuer and Steve McQueen. You know I love chronographs, I love racing watches. This is like the crown jewel of my collection from that point of view. It's a watch that I wore nearly every day until I got, and I'll take you to that watch shortly, until I got a different watch that I added to my collection, which I just found as an easier daily wear. But I love this watch. I think it's very classy. I wore it when I got married. It's the watch I wore at my wedding. And it's unique. And the history behind the model and how it came about just really appealed to me. So when I went into the Tag store in Sydney about 8 years ago, I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to get. I knew I wanted to buy a Swiss made watch, and at the time, not knowing much about Swiss made watches or watches in general, I headed straight to the Tag Heuer store. So you can comment all you like on that, but their marketing works. But I always had seen this watch around and knew I had to have it. And blue is my favorite color, so that is what I ended up with. And I'm super proud that I've got this watch in my collection. I also, funnily enough, got 2 for 1 that day, and I came out with a Tag Heuer Formula 1 quartz. I love this watch. Now, if you're wondering why it's not on its bracelet, funny story. I was thinking about taking this to the US recently because it's quartz. It's a really nice, robust watch, but given it's not the most expensive Swiss made watch I had, I thought it would be a really good idea. Sorry, I've just got my fidget wheel happening. Sorry. I thought, well, maybe I'll take this watch with me. And then I had this really great idea. I thought it was a really great idea at the time, to put a rubber strap on it, because I had these spare rubber straps because we bought these Horace straps for a different watch. And I thought, let's just see if they fit. So it took me A, forever to get the bracelet off this watch, and B, was never able to get not only the rubber strap on, but the bracelet back on. And I've been meaning to take it to a watchmaker but again, I've been a bit embarrassed to do that. So they can put the bracelet back on, and I just haven't had a chance. So they're my 2 tags. Would I like another tag for the collection? Absolutely. I would like a Porsche, a Formula 1 Porsche. Yes, because I drive a Porsche, and yes, because it's a wankery thing to do, but yeah, that's why. Would I like another tag in the collection? I'm not too sure. Look, I wouldn't mind another Monaco, to be honest with you. I think, as I said, fabulous watches. I think they're worth collecting, but I'm not going to pick one of them over something else. Next watch, the watch I am wearing, one of my favorites, and that's the Omega Seamaster 300M, the diver, and that's the Omega Seamaster 300M, 43.5 millimeters for the case, so it's one of the larger sizes, and it's on the rubber strap, and I love this watch. This watch replaced my Monaco as my daily wear, and it still essentially is my daily wear to this day, and it's probably been maybe 5 years since I've got this watch, roughly, give or take. I mean, it's COSC certified, it's a master chronometer. The Omegas go through a very rigorous, hectic testing regime to make sure that they tell almost perfect time. Now, as you've heard me say before, I don't really care too much about that. Of course, I care about the ingenuity of it and the robustness of a watch, but I don't sit there testing how much time my watch loses per day, per week, per month, per year. Particularly not because I own panerais. So, if you've been watching this channel, you guys know I love panerai. I'm wearing my panerai merch today. Thank you, Panerai Sydney, for this at Christmas drinks the other week. And I really adore these watches. I can't get enough of them. I am definitely a panerai fangirl, unofficial paneristi. And so my first panerai was a gift, and it was a gift for a significant birthday held in, well, sort of in between lockdowns. It was in 2020. And my wife took me, well, I thought we were going to a hotel and then out to dinner, and so we're in a car that was not ours. It was a car service, and they're taking us to where I think is the hotel. Now, I knew which hotel we were staying at, and so I knew at a point in time we were going in the wrong direction, and we stopped in the middle of town. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on? And then I see the store and I'm like, nah, there is no way we are going into the panerai store. And then all of a sudden it was like, yep, we're going into the panerai store. So we go in there. Oh, hello, Rachel, how are you? It's my wife's name. And then this must be Jessica. And I was like, oh God, they know who we are. I'm like, what's happening? My wife had been organizing during lockdown, effectively, this watch for my birthday. It was a panerai. And so they take us kind of the back of the store and sit us in the comfy chairs and pour champagne. It was this whole thing. I mean, it's what you imagine or would like every luxury watch buying experience to be. Special, right? Because you're spending all that money. So my wife had picked out 2 watches for me, one of which was the one I picked, but she also had said to me, you can pick something else if you don't like it, you can walk around and have a look. Anyway, I went with what she picked, and she picked the Luminor Due 45mm, which they don't make anymore, and I love it. It's absolutely stunning. It's a GMT. It's got a power reserve complication on the front, 72-hour power reserve. The biggest gripe people have with the Due is the water resistance of 50 meters because, you know, panerai are dive watches, military watches inherently. They're meant to be worn in the water, to be knocked about and everything. And so this doesn't really do that. I don't give a shit. It's got a sunburst dial that absolutely pops. And I love this watch. It's very easy to wear, notwithstanding its diameter size, because of the lower profile of the watch. And it is just all class. In fact, the Due models that they're bringing out more recently are just kind of building on that ethos, and I think are creating a whole new raft of fans and panerai watch wearers because of it. So it's very clever. And you know, the story behind it is also very cool. I'm super excited every time I think about this watch and how I got it. So that is my Panerai Lumina Due GMT. I love it. Okay, another watch for the collection. Let's go now. We'll come back to Panerai, shall we? But let's go to good old Casio. Because I don't know about you guys, but I think everyone needs a G-Shock in the collection, and that's what I certainly thought a few years back, and so I just ordered one on Amazon and it arrived. And I got the G-Shock GN1000 Casio 5443. This thing is a beast, and you guys know I love big watches, but this, even for me, is probably on the large side. And what's more, requires some kind of engineering degree in order to be able to set the time and all the other complications on it. So it drives me a little bit bonkers. That's not to say I don't love this watch. I just don't wear it very often because of those issues. The size. And then I certainly made the mistake, I think, once, if not twice, about taking it overseas, and so I had to change time zones and was like, holy cow, it's not worth the hassle. So I kind of stopped wearing it. Bit of a shame, but it is a very robust, outrageously ginormous, you run a truck over it type of watch and it won't die. The opposite of this watch, which is the F91W. Now, funny thing about this watch is I got this on Amazon. I'm still unclear whether it's legit or not. I'm leaning towards legit, but I'm really unsure still. And I've watched, I don't know how many videos on YouTube about people comparing the fake ones to the real ones of these watches. This, by the way, is a very classic 1980s watch. And it's in the collection because of that. I do actually wear it from time to time, particularly for gym and things like that, but that's about it really. It's a super robust, very simple, very classic, $24, I think it was, watch. In fact, I've bought another one for Secret Santa, which I've probably just spoiled now because I might actually post this video before Christmas, but hey, who cares? I don't even know if my family watches these videos. But yeah, I should do a video on whether it's fake or not, and someone who's smarter than me with this topic will be able to shed some light on that. But yeah, that's my Casios. Sticking with outrageously robust watches, I have done a video on this watch. So if you've seen this video, you're going to understand that I love the military and the Navy in particular, and so I had to have a Luminox Navy SEAL in the collection, and so I got this one, grey and gold, limited edition. And I think at the time I did the video I said I really liked it, but wasn't my favourite. It's grown on me again since then, so I actually took this watch over to the US with me, and I wore it quite a bit. In particular, I wore it swimming, and I noticed something pretty awesome. In the water, this dial just pops and looks unbelievable. And I'm talking about like just, you know, a resort pool, sun is shining kind of day, just under the surface of the water, and it's so clear and amazing. I just went, ooh, that gives a whole other element to this watch that I hadn't really noticed even when I'd worn it at the beach. I think because I got it last summer. Those of you who live in Australia and in particular in New South Wales, you'll know that last summer we had the world's worst weather. It rained nearly every single day, no exaggeration, and it was overcast and it was just awful. So the beaches were murky at best. And so I couldn't really notice the dial under the water because of that. But taking it to a resort and going in a fancy pool that, you know, with the beautiful sun shining, with the crystal clear water, it made it pop, and it just gave me a new appreciation for this watch. So yeah, I've probably changed my mind a little bit on the Luminox, and definitely would love another one for the collection based on how much I love this watch. I still have this watch next to my bed. It is still my nighttime clock because of the luminescent dial. It makes it easy to read. We all know what this is, right? Unless we've been living under a rock this year. This is one of the most hyped watches of 2022, the Moon Swatch. The Omega Swatch collaboration. I still really enjoy this watch. People have mixed views. They love it, they hate it, they're a little in between. Some have loved it, then ended up hating it if it broke, like Adrian on Bark and Jack, which I get. Mine hasn't broke, so I'm still in the honeymoon love phase. And it's the Mission to Saturn that I have, and I've now put it on a Horus strap. The strap costs more than the watch. Yep, I know, it's bloody outrageous, but it doesn't matter. And as a result, I think it actually works. The nylon, what was that? Velcro-y strap it came with, total bunch of rubbish. It just didn't fit properly. I turned it round. Someone on this channel in the comments actually told me to do that. That was genius. It did fit a lot better. But in any event, like a NATO type strap is not my favorite anyway, and this really does work well. So my overpriced, awesome, very supple Horus strap, costs more than the watch, looks amazing, perfect compliment. And I'm really glad I got this watch. I didn't buy it, it was a gift. Thank you, baby, for buying this for me. I'm very lucky. And I'm happy that I've got this in the collection. Would I want other versions of this watch in the collection? Look, maybe. My wife got one, so she's got, ooh, I can't remember if it's the Moon one, to be honest with you, now that we think about it. It's one of the ones that looks as close to the Speedy as possible. She likes it but doesn't love it. It does scratch very easily. I've managed to not scratch mine yet. She's managed to scratch hers copiously, so that's probably the differing of opinion between the two of us on this watch. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I noticed last week in Sydney, the Swatch store actually had these on sale. There was a massive queue for them. I think get in there while you can if they're still there. But yeah. Now, for those of you who watch the channel know that I got this watch as a gift. And I do wear it quite a lot actually. I've put it on a different strap, but it's the Panerai Time Master 42. It's one of their sport motor racing watches. If you go and watch the review, you'll find out that I actually really enjoyed this watch. Even though I loved the look and feel of the rubber strap, I did complain that it was a little bit too long for me, too big. So I bought their leather strap on their website and I'm loving it on here. It fits much better. It looks really cool. It looks very much like a racing watch with the punched holes in the strap, and I'm really enjoying wearing it on this. And I think it's a cool watch still. I haven't changed my view on that since I've done the review. I'm happily wearing it and enjoying it. In fact, I loved the brand so much, I did buy one of their watches. The other one that I reviewed, and that was their Pro Diver 45. Now, I've got two straps for this. This is the strap that I bought it with. So the rubber strap, again, I've done a review on this. It's a super soft, really lovely rubber. It wears a little big, even on my wrist, just because it's thick, it's a bit long, but I still wear it on this strap. I've worn this in the water, I've gone swimming with it. It's kind of why I got it. I wanted something a little bit different than my Luminox to swim in. I know it's a very first world problem. But I also bought a leather alligator look strap for it. It's Italian leather and it just elevates the watch and it looks completely different. Makes it very much a dress watch, and it fits a lot better because the leather is like a lower profile. It kind of hugs around my wrist, a little bit like this, to be honest with you. And it just kind of makes for a different watch. So I'm very, very excited about that little addition to this watch. But yeah, I enjoy wearing my Panzeras. They get a lot of daily wear, I must say. They're just an easy go-to watch, I find. The Dan Henry 1900. Absolutely stunning watch, love it. It's courtesy of Dan Henry himself. Thank you, Dan. And it's just, yeah, it's super elegant. As you know, I did a review on this just the other week. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Do me a favor. Dan's an awesome guy. Go onto his website and have a look. And it's just, yeah, I mean, I'm still loving it. So I think that's always the good test, isn't it? Have I saved the best till last, perhaps? I think I have. So, yeah, I can never have too many panerais. And in fact, I don't have enough. This is my second one. This is from last year's Christmas party at the Sydney Boutique, where my wife and I had probably a little bit too much champagne and we both walked out with a panerai. And it's my PAM 422, and it is a classic, epic panerai watch. I love it. It's a 3-day manual wind, which I actually don't mind, to be honest with you. I tend to find myself winding this every 3 days because I tend to wear it every other day. And it's just, I mean, it's a huge watch, but it just works. It is a classic, timeless watch. I've got a number of different straps ranging from Horace rubber to Yusk canvas. And so I interchange them every now and then, including with the OEM panerai rubber, the black. They completely change the look of the watch, but the one I tend to wear the most is the one it came with, and it's the calfskin sort of tan color that you can see here, which I just think is very, very cool, very elegant. It's starting to wear now, so it's getting a whole different vibe to it, which I absolutely adore. And it's, I mean, everything about this watch to me is quintessential panerai. It's simple, crown guard, everything you want, and just elegantly stunning. Yeah, I love this watch. In fact, I love all my watches. Like I said, I buy watches that sing to me. So I don't have a watch in the collection that I don't like. I try and rotate my watches onto my wrist, not so much equally, but at least regularly. And you know, there are ones that I will wear more than others, and that's not necessarily because they're my favorite watch. They're easier under the circumstance. Like the Omega is one of my favorites, but it's just a really good, people laugh when I say it's like a good daily beater, because I know it's an expensive watch, guys, I get it, but it just is. It's an easy daily watch. It's much easier than this or the other panerai because of the size and things like that. But I just, yeah, I mean, I'm going to do another video on my wish list. There's many watches for the collection. I may receive one for Christmas, who knows. I still am waiting for a Rolex, and you know, and I'm kind of laughing because I watched a video that Jenny L did. It was a Q&A, but I think it's her latest video, and it was just like someone had asked, what's the most boring watch or something like that, and she said the Rolex Submariner no date, and that's the one I want. And I was like, yep, I get that. I can understand how people would think that was boring, because it's just timeless, classic elegance, really. That's the whole point of it. It doesn't date because it is what it is. So that's definitely on my list. I'd love to add that to the collection next year. I mean, among other Rolexes, but hey, got to start somewhere. I'd love to add a Breitling to the collection. You know, I'm going to do a list of Dan. I'd love to add another Dan. There's so many. I just did a whole video on micro brands, and I think I could have had one of every of that brand that I did. It was just, and I did a lot, like 30 brands or something. So can't say I'll be adding that many to the collection next year. Hopefully I'll be able to make a film so I could at least add one. But yeah, look, that's my humble collection. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think I should absolutely add to the collection next year, if I could just add one, for example. I'd love to hear about your collection. You know, I kind of like you guys sharing and chatting away with me. I really enjoy that. So until next time, as usual, have an awesome week and happy holidays.